SoundSphere Radio, where every note connects.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Burp. The BRP podcast is here with you guys today. I am joined by, again, two of the most handsome GQ men you will ever see in your lifetime. We do have the Bildo and we have the Luca. And I'm going to be joining you today. I am T West. So welcome to the Burp podcast. Fellas, how are we feeling today? Somebody light us up. Start us up here.
Stop, T West. You are just too nice. GQ.
Hey, there's something going on there. I don't know what, it might be something, but okay. Billy, how about you? How you doing today?
I'm okay. I saw a video online of a singer who's bilingual, who recreated the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show, but sang it in English, and guess what? It's still trash.
It's still trash.
The lyrics are worse when you actually know what he's saying. Holy shit, is that really cheesy?
Yeah.
It's so cheesy, so bad. And you're like, yeah, but it sounds good. How many songs do we listen to that are just complete, utter bullshit? Like horrible lyrics from back in the day.
Yeah.
At
There's
least
a couple out there.
Yeah, but at least they had more than just my auntie and my girlfriend. VIP.
Yeah. Wasn't it just some weird noise that he was making the whole time? And I don't know.
Either way, whatever, it works for him.
So would you guys say
to that on the way home too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Would you say that was not the greatest of all time Super Bowl halftime show?
No.
The greatest of all time?
I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
Doesn't matter if you like the music or not. Like, you go and watch the Super Bowl for other reasons. So like, I don't know, Rihanna's performance is pretty fucking dope. There's a bunch of decent ones out there.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. Actually, we're going to talk about the greatest of all time. And I do have to say this. I got to start off the way. I was actually late today to our recording here because my daughter actually asked me to race her in Mario Kart 64. And she refuses to acknowledge the fact that I am the greatest of all time in that game. And she continues to keep trying me. And it's the same result over and over. So greatest of all times, I had to show her I still have the Nintendo 64, Mario Kart 64. I am the greatest of all time there. So beyond that, let's start talking about other greatest of all time.
I gotta ask now, who's your character? Who do you use?
Oh man. So okay. I'll actually go back to Nintendo, like Super Nintendo, like Mario Kart, the original. I used Koopa Troopa, absolutely the best. But in Nintendo 64, I actually do use Mario.
Okay.
Oh.
Everyone thinks Yoshi's got it. My daughter was using Yoshi today. But it's Mario. Mario all the way. So.
Nice.
But not the greatest of all time, but I am. So there's that. Okay, so that was completely off kilter here. But let's talk about some real greatest of all time. Let's talk about some sports, right? Who are the greatest of all time? And I kind of want to talk about the main things here. NFL, who's the greatest of all time there? Who is the greatest of all time in the NBA? Now there's going to be a lot to talk about there. And the greatest of all time in Major League Baseball. Some big time names. I even threw on there something that could be a little bit fun because I think it takes a lot of our generation back a little bit. The greatest of all time in the WWE or WWF when we were introduced to it. So a little bit of fun there. But let's just start right off with the king of sports right now is the NFL. As we know, that's something that we talk about a lot. We are also going to be talking about free agency coming up here, which is actually kind of just as fun as football itself. But I want to start off with, I'm going to throw some names out there, and you guys tell me of these names, who is the greatest of all time? And I think I know who everyone expects us to say. So we'll start off there. Tom Brady. All right, we're going to have Tom Brady. We're going to have Jerry Rice. I'm going to throw in Emmitt Smith on there. And I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to go with Joe Montana. All right. So those are 4 of the biggest names you hear and think of when you think of greatest of all time. So I'm going to start with you, Luca. Who are out of that 4, who's your greatest of all time in the NFL? Why? And did I miss somebody that maybe should be on that list?
Nah, I can't disagree with it and pick somebody else. I gotta say Tom Brady though. It feels weird saying that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at his wide receivers. He had a good tight end every now and then. He had a decent wide receiver who was maybe a number 2 wide receiver most of the time. I don't look at Julian Edelman and Wes Welker as being true number 1s. They're decent. They weren't the worst, but they weren't true number 1. So what he did with those teams, that's gotta be the biggest goat.
Okay. So you're going Tom Brady. Billy, what about you? Who are you going with for the greatest of all time in the NFL, or did I miss somebody?
I don't think you missed anybody. I think the quarterback position is the most important on the team. So I'm gonna have to say Tom Brady as well. But Joe Montana is honorable mention. I mean, if you talk about what he did back in that era, the West Coast offense or whatever it was that they perfected during that time. But I like what Lucas said when he had your Julian Edelman and your Wes Welkers that are never going to be in the wide receiver GOAT conversation, as good as that they were in their time. You also had arguably the GOAT in wide receivers and Jerry Rice catching the ball. Tom Brady did more with less.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. And not to mention, he had 1 year of Randy Moss. Could you imagine his stats with Randy Moss throughout all of Randy Moss's career? Then it's like, well, shoot. Is Randy Moss not number 1 then?
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I have a hard time arguing against Tom Brady, knowing that he went up against the likes of Peyton Manning, and he went up against, some of these other quarterbacks in the AFC that, Phillip Rivers, just Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and he still found a way to come out on top. Again, it's hard for me to go against Tom Brady, so I will call him the greatest winning player of all time. 7 Super Bowls is hard to beat, unless you're was it Wilt Chamberlain in Boston of the NBA. Anyway, besides the point, I just don't want to say Tom Brady, so it's hard for me to say that. Of that list, I do want to actually give a kudos to Jerry Rice, because I don't think anyone's going to ever touch his records. No one's going to get close to touching the records that Jerry Rice set. The total yards he had, the total touchdowns, just unbelievable. So I feel like I need to go Jerry Rice, especially if he did catch a lot of those from Joe Montana, Steve Young, but you got to throw in there the times where those guys were hurt. And then his times at the Raiders when he was catching from Rich Gannon. Good quarterbacks, but man, it wasn't Tom Brady throwing him the ball. So I'm gonna go Jerry Rice in this, just because I can't do Tom Brady. So
let me ask a question. With that, wasn't that still like not really a pass happy era either? So they're still making it happen when it's just a run first offense. So your argument's valid too.
Yeah, that's a great point. You're right. Everything was run happy there. The West Coast offense was just kicking off. And no, you make a great point. There was a lot of running that was happening at the time too. And they had a Roger Craig to run the ball. They had some of these guys. So no, great point.
And the consistency every fucking year with that guy, just showing up and not being injured. That's so tough. I mean, look at the greats right now. Puka, how many games is he going to miss per year? You don't know. Like Jamar Chase is missing games. A lot of the guys who could be it either don't have their quarterback there, somebody to throw them the ball, or are they going to have that longevity?
Yeah.
You're right, man. Beating Jerry Rice, that might be tough.
Yeah. And I thought about it too. Like, could Patrick Mahomes match Tom Brady's individual records minus the Super Bowls? There's a chance, right? Like, I feel like if you had that quarterback in a pass happy league, they could come back and they could catch Tom Brady's records, just not the Super Bowls. I don't think that we'll ever see that happen again. But okay, so that was the greatest of all time NFL. So Luca, you had Tom Brady. Billy, you had Tom Brady with an honorable mention to Joe Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had Jerry Rice because I just couldn't say Tom Brady. It couldn't be 3, right? Okay, so that's kind of settled. Now I really want to talk about this one because this is the biggest GOAT talk that we have out there in media today. And that's who's the greatest of all time in the NBA? Is it Michael Jordan? Is it Kobe Bryant? Or is it LeFlop James? Which one is it? So I'm going to start with you, Billy, on this one. Who do you got for your greatest of all time out of those 3? I'd love to put other players in there due to championships like a Wilt Chamberlain or a Bill Russell or some of these guys. But I think we can all narrow it down to those 3 for sure. So Billy, go ahead.
It's Michael Jordan. I mean, it's Michael Jordan. And I love the debate how it's always, is it Michael Jordan or it's LeBron? And people keep forgetting about Kobe Bryant. Like they forget that he was in the middle. I think Kobe Bryant is above LeBron in the GOAT discussion.
Agreed.
But if you think about it, look at what Jordan did for the game, the Jordan brand, and just how Kobe Bryant, for example, emulated his game off of Michael Jordan.
Yep.
And you don't have players now emulating their game off LeBron. I don't think so, actually. I don't think so for that matter. Jordan was the icon. Jordan was the one that did all that stuff first and set the tone for having a pretty jump shot and dunking from the free throw line and just, and he was also good on defense too. I saw a video the other day of LeBron. What was it? The Lakers turned the ball over. LeBron ran back on defense. Lakers got the ball back right away. The other team turned it over. He stayed down on the other side of the court.
Of course,
and he let his Lakers team go 4 against 5. And he just stood down there so he can stat pad. Jordan would never have done that. LeBron gives up on the play. It's Jordan. It's Jordan.
Okay. Easy said there. Luca, out of the 3 of us, you are the one who is more basketball inclined. I mean, you're 6'7", you know.
Jeez, go.
So
yell at this time.
What are your thoughts about our greatest of all time debate here in the NBA?
Jordan. Simple as that.
Okay.
Next. Ditto everything Billy said.
Not much of a debate going on so far.
Yeah, no. Right. No, I was gonna.
And Kobe's number 2. Kobe's number 2, not LeBron. Nope.
Yep.
So although LeBron James has all the stats, he's got the records, he's got everything, the longevity going on 22 years now, 23 years, something like that. That he goes above Kobe. I just want to make sure we're clear because I agree with you that Kobe is better than LeBron James, although LeBron James has the stats, right? He's got all the records. But
I mean, I'll give LeBron James credit. Dude's jacked. He's in great shape, looks phenomenal, but doesn't have that killer instinct.
No. Can I ask you guys this?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you judge more when you look at Tom Brady? Do you look at his stats or do you look at the fact that he has more Super Bowls than every team out there? You look at the Super Bowls. That's impressive. What LeBron, 4 out of 10. Come on.
You lost 6.
6,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's 10. Crazy.
Yeah. I look at the successes.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Billy's gone.
I see him.
Yeah, he's there. So Billy was talking about looking at successes, and we kind of are all in agreement that we're talking about NBA championships, Super Bowls, things like that. We're looking for the rings. So, Billy, I'll let you go. I just wanted to fill in. You're good to go now.
Was I not good to go?
No, we couldn't hear you for a second.
Oh yeah. I'm all good, guys.
Okay, perfect. I just want to
Billy, how about that internet?
Not the internet. It's not the internet.
Oh,
motherfuck! It was not the internet. So what happened is my cord right here on my mic, I bumped it with my left hand, and it wiggled it in my mic.
Okay.
I think the cord that goes into my microphone is like a hot dog down a hallway, so it doesn't make a good connection.
Yeah, that's a problem. You just got to scrape the edges. That's all you got to do. So for those of you who may be new here, don't know, we had some issues for a while there with Luca and his internet. So any chance that we get a chance to bring that up and
It was laptop.
reminisce. Yeah.
It was laptop.
Laptop, internet. It was everything under the sun there. For about a month there, every day it was something new. And we were like, okay, what's it going to be today? And so now anytime he can try to get it back, give it back to us, now he does. So, and well deserved. So okay, so the other thing I want to add on the LeBron James thing here is I don't even want to have him in the GOAT like topic, because I think he did more detriment to the NBA than anything that could his successes, his championships. The fact that he brought flopping to the mainstream in the NBA, that they had to build rules around him and all these different things. Everyone knows and everyone does it. And it just brought the credibility of the NBA to nothing for me. And that may be a hot topic. Some people may hate me for that, but I think LeBron James did more detriment to the NBA than he did good. So yeah, opposite of the GOAT. I don't know what that is. Is that the donkey? I have no idea. So anyway, okay, so we got Michael Jordan, and I'm also going to Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant number 2 for each of us. So okay, I think we're all in agreement there. So kind of cool. Now it's going to get a little tricky. We're going to jump over to the greatest of all time in Major League Baseball. And there's some big time names here. There's Mickey Mantle. There's Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, Gary Sheffield. No, kidding. I'm totally kidding. It's not Gary Sheffield. Sorry. I'd like to throw Nolan Ryan in there as a pitcher, because I think a pitcher deserves to be in there. Cy Young, right? Like some of these old time pitchers. So out of those names, let's go with those 5. Right? We had Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle. We're not even putting in like a Pete. Did I say Pete Rose?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Pete Rose. Nolan Ryan and a Cy Young. So what do you guys have? Is there anyone I'm missing? And what direction would you go for greatest of all time in Major League Baseball history? And there's a lot of history here. Luca, you're the MLB guy. You're our spring training guy. So I want to start with you. What do you think?
I'm going to go so far out of pocket just to start. I'm going to say Ichiro. He's the modern day Williams. He could hit. He can field. He could pitch if you really needed him to. In fact, I believe he did in a game.
Yeah.
He was at the end of the juiced era. He was there with all the crazy, like putting anything and everything on a ball to get extra velocity out of it from a lot of these pitchers. The amount of strikeouts and the amount of fastballs that were going over 100 miles per hour, the velocity, he just increased so much. And for this guy to go out there and hit 3,000 hits and not even play his first 7 years in the league.
Yeah, he was in Japan.
Pete Rose's record's going down. I think, who knows? I mean, I think he opened up the floodgates for guys like Shohei and a bunch of other guys over in Japan who didn't know that they could be a Major League Baseball player and succeed if they really put their mind into it. And I don't think you touch Ichiro on any level. The only thing he lacks is having World Series rings. That's it.
Did he not get one with the Yankees?
I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, I have no idea. I just assume he doesn't have one. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's something we can come back to. Ichiro, that was out of pocket and totally unexpected. But you know what? I'm not going to argue with you. Billy, what about you? Who do you go with for your greatest of all time?
I love the Ichiro shout out. I love my Mariners. Ken Griffey Jr. is my personal GOAT.
Okay.
I beautiful swing in baseball, but I'm going to go with the traditional route. And I'm going to say Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Okay.
Because
all right. Now, go ahead.
Known for his hitting and calling his shot and all that power, but oftentimes it's never center of discussion that he was also a two-way player with pitching and was a pretty good pitcher too. And I think the stats that he put up back in his era could compare to today's stats. If you look at Ohtani and the Dodgers, power hitter, good pitcher. Babe Ruth did that, so I'm just gonna say Babe Ruth.
All right, so you guys have both brought this up, and let me ask a question: should we be including Shohei Ohtani in the greatest of all time discussion already? Yeah, I know, right? There's that. That's a hard, but the MVPs he's got, the World Series he's got.
Yeah, and you also have to look at like Babe Ruth with the amount of innings that he pitched, his ERA. Otani's not far behind. He's maybe like a handful of games, a season or two behind, passing Babe Ruth for most amount of innings pitched as a pitcher, and I think he's done it more impressively than Babe Ruth did. And now you put into the equation his hitting. His hitting's only evolved every single year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've seen the top of the top, a 50-50 guy. And home runs and steals, like outrageous. Like he's gonna be the next one. I don't think he's quite a Ichiro, but you're not far off. I think he could pass Babe Ruth.
Okay.
I don't disagree, but I'm just such a old traditional geezer where I'm just like, not yet, kid. Not yet.
Not yet.
Let's cement your legacy. Let's see how the rest of your career plays out. But I don't disagree. I mean, with what he's doing now, I mean, I think if I recall, it might be a Mandela effect, but if I do recall, there's been other players that were pitchers and hitters, but they just didn't do it at the success rate as Ohtani did.
Sure.
So I don't disagree with the argument that he could be in the GOAT debate.
Okay. Yeah.
The Dodgers, though.
Yeah. Oh God. Right. Fuck the Dodgers so hard. I hate them so much. Yeah. So okay. So we're Brewers fans, and the Dodgers just keep getting us. Whether it was 2018, whether it was 2025, they just keep getting us, and it sucks. So Dodgers, no, just no. Okay, so I think I'm kind of torn because I was just amazed at the fact that Pete Rose got over 4,000 hits. Or like, not only did he get to celebrate 3,000, he also celebrated 4,000. Something besides Ichiro, who, if you took his hits from Japan and his hits in the MLB, would have outdone Pete Rose. But I just don't know if we're ever going to see that again. I don't know if we're ever going to see a 3,000, hitter, right? 3,000 hits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're ever going to see it again.
I do.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't think we're far off from it. Yeah.
I don't think we see it. I really don't. So that being said,
I think Altuve hits 3,000 easy.
Okay. All right.
He's been around for a quick minute. I think he can get 3,000. 4,000? No, I agree. We'll never, ever see that again.
No. And that's why I tend to lead towards Pete Rose. And the fact that he was, banned for betting on baseball, if I remember right, he bet on himself and his own team.
I believe you're right.
You know what? Okay. So he bet on his team winning. It's not like he was throwing the game.
Yeah, he's not shaving points, dude.
Yeah.
Like that one basketball video where it's very clear that he was doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I go Pete Rose. I did want to go Hank Aaron or traditional Jackie Robinson for breaking the color barrier, things like that. But just the fact that he could hit anywhere, everything, all the time, 4,000 plus hits, I don't think we'll ever see it again. And I think he was probably the best, most natural hitter of the baseball we'll ever see.
Can I throw in a detour real quick?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Now, based off of the happy joy of your 4,000 hits, can we talk about the Portland coach, Chauncey Billups? And I think he's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. And isn't he going to go to jail for gambling?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. Chauncey Billups, so the fact that he was a coach too already surprised me. I just didn't think he was that good of a basketball player. So
the thing that's sad about Pete Rose is that even if they lifted that ban to get him in the Hall of Fame, it's too late now. He's passed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think he's gonna.
They did.
Yeah,
I thought they did after he passed away.
Yeah, they lifted the ban. So
after he passed away, though.
After he passed away. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's going to get allowed into the Hall of Fame this next year, or maybe he did already. I'm not too sure.
He didn't get
I know
the
that
votes,
there's something. Okay.
But that's what's bullshit though. It takes him dying.
Yeah.
For them to be like, all right, maybe we should put him in because he's dead. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, you should let him have some closure.
Right.
And he took that to his grave. He took that to his grave going like, I got hosed because I, like T West said, I bet on myself.
Yeah.
To win.
Myself and my team.
Right.
And that's not okay. Like, Yeah, no, to me it's like that's because he's gonna try harder. Like, we got to get this win, guys.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, I just like that.
When I met him in Vegas, when he had his own shop under Caesars, he wasn't paying attention. I was riding a high after 2008. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna get this next year. We didn't get this year. We're gonna get next year for sure, right? I was there with him. He's like, he couldn't tell me a single brewer. He couldn't tell me a single thing that was going on the team.
Yeah, he's
He asked
disconnected.
if like Greg Vaughn was still on the team. I was like, what?
Greg Vaughn. Oh
I'm
man,
like,
I love that
nah,
name.
we got Prince Fielder now. He's like, Cecil? I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, Pete was. I think he did disconnect from baseball because of everything for a while. So
How could you not though?
yeah,
If it happened to me, I would say, I'm not watching this or supporting either, so
Yeah.
I can't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
nope, don't blame him one bit. All right, so Luca, who did you have again? Ichiro.
Yeah, Ichiro.
So you're
Totally
saying
lost train of thought.
Ichiro is the
Billy said
greatest
something
baseball
there.
player of all time. Okay.
Yeah, Billy said something there, and I just wanted to jump in so badly.
All right.
What? With what?
Intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts.
What?
Yeah. Let it all out.
Yeah, let it all
No,
out.
no. I'll save it. I'll save it.
Oh, you.
All right. Okay. So, all right, Luca, Ichiro, Billy, you had
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Thank you. You started with Ken Griffey. I was thinking Ken Griffey.
He's my goat.
He's your goat.
He's my goat.
Yeah, one of the best swings I've ever seen in my life.
Mhm.
And I went with Pete Rose. Honestly, not what I expected. I kind of expected one of us to go Hank Aaron or something else. Or the Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio's, whatever. Ted Williams was mentioned in here, but I think the ones that we picked are all amazing baseball players, of course. Okay, I know that's the greatest for baseball. I do want to ask about pitchers though, just because they're so different than hitters. Who would you go as your greatest of all time pitcher? And I'm going to throw out I said like Nolan Ryan, Cy Young. I'd like to put Randy Johnson in that talk. I don't want to put Roger Clemens in that talk, but yeah. Kurt Schilling, Bloody Sockgate. No, I don't want to do any of those. Who am I missing? So who would you pick as your greatest of all time pitcher in Major League history?
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth when you said Randy Johnson.
Okay.
That's a good one.
The big unit, right? Like the dude was just so tall. He blew up a bird. Come on, like dude blew up a bird with a fastball. When do you see that? So, all right. So Randy Johnson, we got that one. Luca, I see the wheels turning. I see the smoke billowing out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at stats, I look at Cy Young. Like I'm trying to think of who pitched as many like innings, going complete games, and the amount of wins that he had. I'm just like, I can't think of anybody now who has longevity. Everybody with their arms, the velocity that they throw at, nobody's got the longevity anymore. Get that one contractor out. So I gotta stick with Cy Young.
I got two.
Okay.
One, I'm gonna go with Luca with the whole longevity thing. Greg Maddux.
Oh, that's a good pick.
And then I'll throw another name out there that was cut short due to injury, but Sandy Koufax.
Okay.
So I get what Luca needed longevity, but
those are good picks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Greg Maddux was a gangster though, so I guess he should be in that conversation. Then you also have to think about like when you talk about relief pitchers too. Like do you throw relief pitchers in there because then you have like
Mariano Rivera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trevor Hoffman.
All you need to say that one pitcher.
Yeah.
Like people know his name. I don't think there's going to be a better relief pitcher ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to match those stats of those guys right there.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to throw this out there real quick for Nolan Ryan. 5,714 strikeouts. Jeez. He pitched for 27 seasons, 7 no-hitters. 7, right? Like this guy, I know one time he threw I was just looking up wild stats. On June 14th, 1974, he threw 13 innings in a game, 19 strikeouts, 10 walks, 235 pitches in
Jeez.
one game. One game. That's 2 or 3 games for starting pitchers in 2026.
this?
This was Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan?
Yeah, just never seen a guy with the stats that he's got.
And he also beat the shit out of Robin Ventura.
Yeah, yes.
There you go. There you go.
One of the best.
That was in his older
clips
ages.
ever.
Yeah.
All I remember is half his pictures of him like getting in a scuffle with somebody. Like
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I have a couple of his trading cards where like somebody's running at the mound. He's like ready to line up. I could have swore I had some like early like 90s like junk wax
Yeah.
that just had him about to get in a fight. I was just like, damn.
Well, I think it said on there that he hit 175 batters in his career. Like, damn, dude.
Can you
A lot
imagine
Going after people.
hit by a Nolan Ryan fastball?
Oh,
My God.
Ooh. Can I
the
put that on the
documentary-
bucket list now?
Yeah, absolutely.
He could probably still throw the heat.
Yeah.
Oof.
I think
Yeah,
he could.
He threw out a first pitch a couple years ago, and I think they clocked him at like 86 miles an hour.
Dude.
And I'm like, no,
You know what?
fucking way. Dude's like 80. So
I'll tell you what,
Right?
if Nolan, I'll tell you what, if we get 10,000 followers, I'll DM Nolan Ryan, and I will take a fastball to the back.
okay, I think that's fair.
That will
That's
be a
fair.
hit by pitch. I will take that if we get 10,000 followers off this.
You are
If-
used to
if-
back shots. But now if you talk about
Oh,
if you talk about
Oh.
documentaries, that Nolan Ryan documentary is really good too. I would recommend that one.
Absolutely. Oh man, I'm sorry. That was so perfect.
So,
You know what? You had something for me. I was gonna hold it in, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna beat him to it.
Yep, that one was just boom, perfect.
that was good. That was good.
That was good. You know, okay, I want to add on that. If we get the 10,000 followers to like what Luke is kind of talking here, I'll
Yeah.
reach out to our other major league team here, the Milwaukee Milkmen, and I'll be like, hey, we're doing this. I will gladly sit in the batter's box and let one of your starting pitchers hit me. You know, I'll make it like a live event, starting pitcher from the Milkmen, just nail me right in the side or something.
Oh,
I'm game.
geez. Okay, well, what am I gonna do? I'll streak through the Milkman game.
You'll okay.
We're not going to
streak.
get any followers.
Oh.
All right. I got to change my betting call sheet now.
Dude, Milkman game are fun to go
They
to.
are fun, aren't they?
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Luca, if you're up here ever and it's during their season, like we should go to a game.
Well,
They're
yeah.
really fun.
What? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Because we always plan for Labor Day weekend, but we can never catch a game or anything like that. Like I don't know when the season actually starts.
Me either, actually.
I think
Find
it
out.
starts soon. But yeah, I don't know how long it goes.
Miss it just by like a hair.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're a lot of fun.
They are a ton of fun. So yeah, so shout out to the Milwaukee Milkmen. You know, not the Savannah Bananas. They actually play baseball. You know, the Savannah Bananas are all entertainment, like Harlem Globetrotter stuff. But yeah, they're in North American Baseball League or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a draft this past year. Did you?
Oh, really?
Like,
No, I didn't.
yeah,
know
there
that.
was a chick
didn't
that
know.
got drafted #1 overall in the Bananas League.
Oh, the Bananas League.
Mm.
Okay, well, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
whatever it is, and she was like the #1 overall draft pick for the Bananas.
Okay.
Yeah, some chick. She pitches pretty good. I saw her go over
Yeah.
80 miles an hour. I was like,
Wow.
All right.
and it, not underhand.
Yeah, no, I think I've seen who you're talking about, but yeah, I don't know enough about it. You know, they are starting up the Women's Professional Baseball League again.
Really?
Really?
Yep, that is kicking off here this year or next year.
I
think.
probably watch that more likely than watching the WNBA.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
When that one chick was playing for Bama that crushed like all these home runs and set the NCAA record, I'm like, every single at bat. It wasn't just like a normal home run, like clearing the fence. That's cool. It was like towering, like people are like looking up at the building, but like
Yeah.
above them to watch it hit, like
Yeah.
just crushing.
Yeah, I think this is gonna all be overhand though too. So not underhand.
Ooh, that's
You know, I caught the end of A League of Their Own this past weekend because on TV. What a
Yeah, yep.
great movie, man.
It is so good.
It was a great
Yep.
movie.
Mhm.
So is it gonna be like
Yo,
that league
Donald.
kind of thing?
Yep, I think
It
it's
is
just like that.
fun.
I watch it for Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh God.
What can I say?
Rosie, you know, yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything about that. Um, but Madonna and Gina Davis back in the day,
I was just gonna say, shout out to Gina Davis, man.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. And then it was like Racine, right? Racine
Mhm.
Peaches or whatever they were.
There's the
So
Rockford Peaches,
Rockford Peaches, thank you.
and then Racine Bells or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like, hey,
Didn't Wisconsin have like 2 teams back in the day too? It
I
was all
think
between
so.
like Wisconsin, Illinois, and then like what?
Yeah.
The edge of Indiana or something like that.
Yeah,
It was
something
only
like
like
that.
6 to 8 like teams
Yeah, there
in the
wasn't a lot
league.
of teams, but
Yeah.
hey, you know what? They did what they had to do back in World War II. So
Yeah, absolutely.
no, okay, so perfect. That was a great talk. I love that we branched off into baseball a little bit there. Good talk on the pitching. Nolan Ryan was just a beast. But yeah, you're right.
He
Glavin was crazy smart too. He knew what these guys were gonna do. Okay, so we do got to talk about the best sports entertainment league in the world. I'm shitting you. I was a pocket wrestling fan, like a closet wrestling fan. Back in the day, it was cool in the 2000s, the Monday Night Wars. But I do want to ask you guys, like, okay, who is the greatest of all time in the WWE? And we have just a few names that pop off my list right now. Is you got to talk about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I think you got to talk about the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Those are three. Andre the Giant. Three. Macho Man Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior. Is there anybody nowadays that's any good? John Cena. I guess we got to throw him on there. Was Ric Flair? You just go on and on and on. So I want to get your guys' thoughts, Billy. Let's start with you. Who do you think is the greatest of all time from the WWE?
Stone Cold, hands down.
Oh, that was easy. Okay, Stone
My
Cold.
favorite wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin. There's still people that walk around with Austin 316 shirts. There
Yes,
are still people that say hell yeah, or when someone's talking, they're yelling "what" back
Yep.
at you, or they're slamming
What?
two beers. The culture he created with his character carries on to this day, and it just traveled well throughout the decades. And Texas Rattlesnake all day, baby.
Okay. All right. So Billy, you're going Stone Cold. Luca, where are you going with your goat of the WWE?
I'm going to be very hypocritical. I'm going to go stats now. I'm going to go
Oh,
after the guy who had over 180 wins in a row to start his career. He's none other than Goldberg.
Oh,
Yep.
Goldberg.
And although he started off in WCW, he won
Yep.
multiple championships. He went to WWF, WWE, and he did the same thing.
Yeah.
And for that, going from entertainment industry to another entertainment platform, greatest of all time stats.
You know what I will point out here? Bill Goldberg never won the WWE championship.
Was he still wrestling? I thought he had WWF.
Yeah. So he was. So he won. It was the big gold. It was the world championship belt. He won that in WCW. He won that in WWE, but it was called the World Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, right? It wasn't. They had that belt and they had the WWE Championship. He never won the WWE Championship because Vince McMahon did not allow 9 out of 10 of the WCW wrestlers to ever win the WWE Championship. So, just a quick little tidbit on that. But yeah, Bill Goldberg was my favorite wrestler just because I love football so much, and he had the spear, and dude was so cool.
So would Goldust technically has, or what's his son's name?
Goldust.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It is Goldust. Yeah.
So Goldust is Dustin Rhodes. His dad was Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream.
And he's
his son,
in the
Cody.
WWE. Cody
is in the that's Dustin's brother, Cody. He's won a championship.
Okay, shoot.
But yeah,
Why
Goldberg.
did I think that he was with
Okay.
WCW? I was starting to think. I was like, wait a second, how old is this motherfucker? He was in WCW as
Yeah.
Goldust. Like, got
Well,
rejected.
Goldust started in WWE, and
Yeah.
then he went to WCW, had some weird thing, and then went back to WWE. It's
Cody
there's so
Rhodes
much.
isn't that same guy.
Nope, Cody Rhodes is a different guy.
Okay. Well,
I
I'm an
I
idiot.
I will say I did watch the Cody Rhodes storyline because I did want to see, because it was I enjoyed Dusty Rhodes. He and I were a lot alike. He was fat, I'm fat. We're both the peak epitome of what men should look like. So I was excited. Then all of a sudden, like, he never won the championship, but the fact that his son did, that was a pretty good storyline.
Explains why I related so much to like Mankind.
Oh, well, you're not wrong. Okay, so Billy, you went with Stone Cold. Luca, you went with
Goldberg.
Okay. I want to go Ric Flair. I want to go John Cena. I don't want to go John Cena. I never really liked John Cena because I wasn't into the thugonomics or whatever he was doing. It was clever as shit, and it worked back in the day, right? I think I'm actually going to go Hulk Hogan, and that's he was my personal favorite for the longest time. Transcended, wrestling completely. Got into the movies, things like that. Did the whole NWO for life, right? Like a whole new thing, kind of like. People still do that. I also see them wearing their NWO shirts. I bought an NWO hat.
Yeah, that's true.
Occasionally, when I hear someone say "for life," I'm like, "For life." Right? It's just I'm so nerdy that way. But so I'm gonna go Hulk Hogan just because I think what he did for wrestling and during the golden era of wrestling, and then with all the sports entertainment. So I'm gonna go Hulk Hogan on that one.
You were one of those guys that went around during the NWO era going, suck it.
That's DX, bro.
Dude.
Wasn't he part of NWO?
No.
I thought him and
you gotta go back to the archives, son. You gotta go back to the archives.
Yeah, you gotta go back.
When X-Pac or whatever,
X-Pac, whatever his name was, 1 2 3 Kid.
When he was the 1 2 3 Kid, and then he went to NWO. And I thought
then he was with DX, NWO, DX. Yeah,
they were all with NWO.
Yeah,
it was like when the generation started to come to an end.
Yeah. So that was a fun battle, though, the DX versus NWO type thing, and Monday Night Wars. And you're a kid, it was a good storyline growing up.
So they were against each other. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
DX was WWF back in the day, and NWO
you can tell where I
was
faded out.
WCW. Yep.
So you can tell my generation of where I fell out.
I faded out when the Attitude Era ended.
Yeah. Same.
Went to that, PG stuff.
That stuff was garbage. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey, I like it. That's a good list of all-time greats for WWE. There are still some really good wrestling storylines out there. I'm sure. I don't have time or effort for them lately. Maybe maybe eventually. I do like to watch like WrestleMania. That's kind of fun. The Royal Rumble, maybe. See like 30 guys getting thrown. I'm good with that. So
there's a documentary on Netflix. I think it's called Unreal or Uncut, or something like that.
Okay.
It's a WWE documentary where like behind the scenes and stuff, and it kind of like goes into the writer's room with Triple H and all. It's pretty good. They got 2 seasons of it. I've watched both of them. They're really good.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'll have to take a look at that.
So Netflix?
Netflix, yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I'll dive into that.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have some time here in between because we're right at the beginning of spring training. We're right before the draft in the NFL. Basketball's still going on, but the Bucks aren't doing very well. We'll have some time, and we're all waiting for the monster of the sport, the NFL, to come back. And that's what we're actually going to finish with today. We're going to we're going to pose a question to the audience that we want you guys to comment back with us. And we're going to give you our thoughts as well. So we're going to finish with the NFL with a little bit of, it's not our franchise bench cut. It's close. But we're going to bring up the idea of who in their prime out of these quarterbacks would end up getting cut from their team. and I'm assuming these guys are all on the same team, like which one of these guys would get cut? And the ones we're going to give you out there for the audience world is Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Kurt Warner. So we want you guys to comment back. Let us know. So who in their prime would end up getting cut from this team? And let us know, comment, and we're going to give you our thoughts here in just a second. First of all, if any team ever had these 4 quarterbacks at one time, damn.
Mm-hmm.
So start off with that. But Billy, I want to start with you here, and I want to know who your thoughts are on who is getting cut out of that list.
Never cutting Brett Favre.
Okay.
Despite all the drama with him post NFL career and on the Jets and all that stuff, he was my favorite Packer. Loved watching him growing up. He's going to break your heart as much as he makes it jump for joy.
Yep.
But what an exciting quarterback to watch. He was so fun to watch. And the way he played the game like a little boy in the schoolyard, just running with his helmet off. He played that game with so much joy and so much passion.
Yes.
It was so fun to watch.
Agreed.
I'm cutting Kurt Warner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Peyton Manning is like the king of the audible.
Smartest guy, smartest stupid guy out there.
Yeah, I mean, just the way his IQ, and he's basically an offensive coordinator. On the field. And just great. I mean, his rookie year he threw the most interceptions and blah 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 whatever. But look at how he turned it around.
Right. And we're talking in their prime too, like
in their prime.
Yeah.
When you have Peyton Manning throwing for whatever it was, 5,000 yards and the most touchdowns in the season. And then you look at the MVPs with them. You have Brett Favre was a 3-time MVP, and Peyton Manning, I think, was as well, or at least 2 of them.
5-time.
Yeah. Okay. I knew he was. And then you have Drew Brees. Just he threw the ball. He loved throwing the ball. I loved watching Drew Brees play. Great person, good humanitarian.
5,000 yards a year.
Yeah, just so fun. And I'm just gonna cut Kurt Warner just because of how I just talked the other 3 up.
Okay. All right.
I just think talk about a lucky ass dude though. Bagging groceries to the CFL.
Yep.
The NFL. No disrespect to Kurt Warner, but I just think he's one tiny tier below the other 3.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's a great response. Luca, curious to see who you're cutting out of this list and your reasoning behind it.
I had such better comments to say than Billy. I was gonna be like, always behind Brett Favre in minicamp, always behind Brett Favre. Get the F out of here, Kurt Warner. I had attitude and everything, but then you started talking about Kurt Warner, and you're like, oh yeah, Drew Brees. Drew Brees always had somebody to throw to.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees is right there behind Tom Brady with a lot of records. Like he was pretty decent. He had a lot of decent receivers.
Who did Brees have to throw to?
Not
you got the Charger on the Chargers.
Who's on the Chargers? Who was on the Chargers?
Yeah, Marquise Colston.
Colston, that's who it was.
Okay.
He had Jimmy Graham.
Okay, I'll give you Jimmy Graham. I did forget about Jimmy Graham.
He had what was his name? Thomas or whatever his name was.
Michael Thomas. Yes, good call, Billy.
He had a lot of amazing receivers.
Okay.
Who you're sitting there every year like, damn. Okay, I'm picking them. He should have won more Super Bowls with what he had.
Yep.
And he didn't. So I'm cutting Drew Brees. I'm sorry to say that. I'm cutting him.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's a surprise. Did not expect.
I'm keeping Peyton Manning because they refused to get him an offensive line, just like how they he had Jeff Saturday. Great. Good job, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it, mainly. Jeff Saturday held up that line. You look at what Andrew Luck had, nothing. You look at every other Colts quarterback, they don't know how to get an offensive line. Simple as that. So for what Peyton Manning did there, great. And then when he moved on from Marvin Harrison and Edgerrin James, other than not having an offensive line, like they were pretty decent. And you know what? He won a Super Bowl. Great. He went on to win a second Super Bowl with a Denver team that was loaded, that should have won one. And there's a reason why he was out there with stats. It's because he made his stuff happen. So you're obviously keeping him. Billy, you're right. Brett Favre, never gonna cut. And Kurt Warner, I'm gonna keep him. Yes, he did have the greatest show on turf.
That's why I'm cutting him. That's why I'm cutting Kurt Warner, because he had the greatest show on turf. Sorry, not to butt in, but I'm cutting him because of that.
And you know what? He also had Larry Fitzgerald too. And because he had those players and he only had the limited amount of time that he did have, and he still got a Super Bowl out of it. He went to how many of them? Breeze went to 1. Kurt went to more.
Kurt went to 3. He won 1 and lost 2. So
yeah.
Remind me, he won with the Rams, lost with the Cardinals with Fitzgerald. What was the other loss?
He lost with the Rams as well. With
okay, got it.
Brady's first Super Bowl was Warner's last with the Rams.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
So I got more respect with Kurt Warner having less time in the league, because I think in longevity spec, if you put the two of them side by side, Breeze and Kurt Warner, I think Kurt Warner would have broken a lot of Drew Brees' records if he had the same type of equipment and had the same type of years.
Okay. I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from on that one. And hey, nothing wrong with that take right there either. But like I said, I think because he had the greatest show on turf, that aided him to a point where you could have thrown almost any mediocre quarterback into that situation, and you would have won a Super Bowl that year, and you would have propelled that person into an MVP season that he had. So, compared with the other 3, Brett Favre was the other one I might have cut just because of the turnovers. Right? The fact that we went to a Super Bowl, we won 1 and lost 1, but the bad turnovers when it mattered the most, that's what hurts. And so for me, I'm keeping Brett Favre, but it was closer than I'd like to admit with Kurt Warner.
Can we mix this up a little bit there?
Yeah.
Okay. So if any one of these 4 players switch to having, like, say, Brett Favre over with the Colts in that team, and then going to Denver, or having Chargers, then Saints, or having the route of Rams, and then going to Cardinals. You mix match any of these players with different careers. Is there one player that outdoes any one of the other players just because they had an easier career path?
Okay, now that's a great question.
Like, do you put Brett Favre in Kurt Warner's shoes to where he has those types of rosters, and he has, like, what? Maybe he does go 3 for 3 for Super Bowl.
I think so.
Do you think that he's that pure of an athlete over the other 3?
Yeah,
that no matter what team, what career he had, he's outdoing them all, right?
Yeah, Favre could scramble and throw on the run, everything he needed. So and that makes me think, like, what if Favre would have been on the Colts? I don't think Favre would have been as successful. But would Peyton Manning have been successful on the Packers? I also don't think so, because Favre was running for his life. Peyton Manning ain't going to run for his life.
He did, though.
Not much.
He scrambled because he just doinked over to Edgerrin James for half his career.
Right. So, no, great question. Great question. What are you guys out there thinking, though, in the internet world, where you can let us know how stupid we are and give us your thoughts? That's a great question from the Luca. Definitely appreciate that. And I am so curious to hear what y'all have to say. So let us know who's getting cut, who's having a better career on a different team, kind of like what Luca was asking there. So let us know.
Let's throw Tom Brady into that mix then. If any of these other quarterbacks had Tom Brady's career, like, was on those teams with Belichick, would they have more Super Bowls than Tom Brady?
No. Tom Brady was the only one who was patient enough to check down and take the slants and do the game management, that I like to call it. So everyone
Hmm.
else was too impatient, too much of a gunslinger. They were just going to let her rip.
Let me ask this with the contracts. I don't know any contract history with Favre, Manning, Breeze, or Warner. But I do know is that Tom Brady was okay taking less money, so there's more to spread around to build talent around the team, which is also
Yep.
what I
Yep.
think will aid to their Super Bowl success. That Tom Brady was willing to spread it around.
Yes.
Were these other quarterbacks would they done the same thing to get the talent? Because a lot of the
I
big
don't know.
flashy running backs or wide receivers and stuff, but they had invested that money in O-line or in defense and shit. So it's like, would these other quarterbacks would have done that?
Yeah.
That's a great question because I know Drew Brees should have been happy just to get a deal from somebody. So he
Mhm.
might have taken less,
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember when Tom Brady took the pay cut. Didn't they just like go and grab somebody so off the wall and everybody was like, bro, how's that help Tom Brady on offense? That's what he took the pay
Yeah.
cut for. And I remember us Charles just sitting there like, what the fuck was that? Correct me if I'm wrong, but like I'm
I
wondering
don't
when he
know.
took that
Yeah.
pay cut, who they signed, and did that person who they signed help him win a Super Bowl? Could he afforded to take more money and still gotten those Super Bowls? How much did Tom Brady really lose? Let's dive deep.
Yeah.
Well, that question though, like T West said, they're all gunslingers. I actually would love to look at a crystal ball and see how
Yes.
the other quarterbacks would have done with the greatest show on turf.
Yes.
I mean, I would love to see that. I mean, you're on turf, you're in a dome, you have no elements.
Yeah.
You have Brett Favre that played half of his season in shit weather.
Yep.
And the others were in domes too, I guess.
Yeah.
With Manning and Breeze, but I would love to see Brett Favre with no elements and having that stacked Rams team at his disposal.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah. Well, then I'm gonna flip it. I see what you're saying there, and then now piggybacking off of what you said to us, put Tom Brady in the same career as Kurt Warner. Does he have more Super Bowls than 7? Because greatest show on turf, does he ever lose?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
You put him with Larry Fitzgerald and that Cardinals team. Do the Cardinals have a Super Bowl? I mean, come on, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So Tom Brady lost 2 Super Bowls, right?
He lost
at least
both to the Giants, right?
He also lost to the Eagles, so I know he lost 3.
So you're talking about this fucker could have 10 rings.
Yeah.
So to Lucas' point, does he lose any of those 3? And man, shit, I kind of want to say the answer is no.
Agreed. I agree.
No.
I agree. So,
damn,
man, that's a crazy thought. You know what? That's a great thought to end it on, though, for today. And that's something that we can continue on as we go. But ultimately, just want to welcome everybody to our channel. Want to welcome everybody to the Burp podcast, as it is the BRP. We used to burp on here a lot. We don't do that no more. But
we're classy now.
We're classy. Absolutely. But no, we want to thank everyone for joining in, listening to us, wishing y'all nothing but the best. And come back and listen to us, see what we got for you. Other than that, man, I'm good if you guys are good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, peace out, y'all.
Microphone check, 1, 2, 3. Tuning into what's hot like a cup of tea. The BRP is live, it's time to feast with BLT icons bringing you the heat. Static on the dial and the crackle in the air. Feeling like a rebel in the day's wear and tear. The BLT icons pouring out their noise. Tuning into the burp with the glitch and poise. Let's go! Everybody wanna tell me what to listen to. I grab the mic and this is what I'm gonna do. Tune into the BRP by the Bulls Rolling Productions. Build a look at T-West is how I get my chill on.
This has been a presentation from the Balls
Rolling Productions.
SoundSphere Radio, where every note connects.